All right. Shalom, I can start the lesson. I do want to give all praise and my glory to Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem Rakakadash. Double honor to our apostles and elders of great mills from the knowledge of truth. Peace and blessing to the sincere occupants that's pushing this truth. And all truth and sincerity are on the four corners of the earth to that you lead to us. Shalom. Okay, I'm the brother Ariel from the Great Millstone Miami Camp. Come back to the spirit power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua to make another lesson. Okay, this lesson, I'll be going to, we are at the end of Esau's kingdom. We are at the ending of this devil's rulership. Okay, scriptures speak about, you read the scripture of the statue in Daniel. Okay, you got the Assyrians, the Babylonians, the Persians, the Medes, the Greeks, the Romans, and now the revised Roman Empire, which is the iron mixed with mirrored clay. Okay, just showing you how weak, this kingdom would be. And that's showing you how, we are at the end of this place, because when you go into that too as well, that statue, scripture's talking about there is a mighty stone coming out. And that stone was aimed at the bottom of the statue. And that stone's talking about Yahushua. So we understand that Yahushua is going to come back, and take this devil out of rulership. And right now, Esau, Edom is ruling. But he's not set to rule forever. He was set to rule for a point of time, but understand that, he's not going to rule forever. Seeing the decline of this devil. Seeing the decline of this devil's rulership, man. The dollar losing its value. America's losing its strength. You've seen America losing its strength. Even with that whole Iran and America war thing, man. Every time they say it's peace, and then now it's another strike, and it's peace. It's back and forth. And America knows that they cannot go through, the Strait of Hormuz due to the fact that they are at a disadvantage. Iran has placed a lot of mines in the water that they don't know where they're at, as well as these Iranians trained for this type of warfare. You cannot just invade Iran. America just cannot big boy or try to go and bully these nations, because these nations have been sitting and training for a long time, waiting for America. Scripture's talking about how the hammer of the earth cut asunder. And the hammer of the earth was America at a point of time, but we are watching the decline of that. We are watching the downfall of this kingdom. And showing you how when we see the downfall of this kingdom, that means that the kingdom of the kingdom of the Most High is coming. That's what that means. To see our enemies being brought low shows us how, the kingdom of Yahweh Shai is up next. And that's what we want to see, man. Our new rulership, Esau done, exploited the earth, created so much wickedness. So we are ready and preparing for that new rulership, man. That's why we go out on the highways and byways and prophesy the downfall of this place, because we are waiting for that new rulership from Yahweh Shai. Coming to destroy Esau. That's how we know we at the end of this place. And as well too, the Lord said that He gonna give us signs, man. These earthquakes, those earthquakes that just happened in Venezuela. Famine, pestilence. These are signs that show us that we are at the end of Esau's rulership. These just not just natural disasters. Just like, oh yeah, just an earthquake. I don't know, man. These are signs that the Lord is going to show you that He's coming, man. And only the prophets and the men of the Lord are going to be able to decipher and understand what those signs are. But I had a couple precepts lined up. Usually, I have a couple of precepts already lined up, but I just been using the King James ES and if you're going to, they have different topics that show you, that can help you, when you go into certain topics, man. And this one already has certain precepts already filled for you. This title is How We Know This Is the End. This is Deuteronomy 30 verse 7. It says, "And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and all them that hate thee, which persecute thee." That's right, man. You understand that, the nation of Israel, we are under the curses. Guess why? Because we disobeyed. But the Lord said He's going to put All those curses upon our enemies, man, starting with Esau, Edom, and the heathen. All right, and these nations and Esau, Edom are starting to see those curses, man. Okay, inflation. Okay, these devils not used to spending all this money on their food and all these things, and understanding how to penny pitch, and now people are going against Trump, thinking that he's gonna save the day. All right, they're not used to that type of living, man. All right, but guess what nation where guess what nation people are used to that type of living. All right, Jake, Jake know how to survive, in the worst conditions. All right, and you see that now. It don't take much for Jake to know how to survive. All right, but that's just showing you how we at the end, because now those curses are going upon our enemies. All right, this is Jeremiah 28 and verse 8, and it says, "The prophet that had been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence." That's right, man. The prophets understand that those same prophets that are here now were the same prophets back then. All right, and when you see the prophets on the scene, you know that something bad was coming. You know that the Lord was coming to judge that place. That's why when they asked Samuel, "Art thou cometh thou peaceful?" Because they knew when they seen Samuel that he was gonna speak about the judgment that the Lord is about to bring. All right, so when you see all these camps and all these people talking about the end of the world, not people, all these men of great millstones speaking about the end of the world, understand that should be an alarm. Okay, Scripture say, I've said you as a watchman. Okay, get into the house of Israel, give them warning for me. All right, we give you our warning from the Most High. All right, because we understand that we at the end of this place. Okay, we giving you out a warning before the Lord comes back and judge this place. All right, this is Ezekiel 38 and verse 4. It says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws. I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all them that clothe with sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all them handling swords." And that's right, man. Hey, the Lord is really giving these nations, Russia, Iran, all these other nations, that military might back. All right, now these nations are starting to invest in, the military. They're not investing in agriculture, and it speaks about it in Joel, chapter 3. Turn our pruning hooks into spears. Okay, no more investing into agriculture, trying to build the infrastructure up again. Now let's put our money to war. Because these nations have been seeing America being the big bully on the face of the earth. Now, they have the opportunity to start investing in their military, because they understand what's coming. They understand that there's going to be a day that they're going to have to go against this, go against this beast. All right. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9, and it says, "For Esau was the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed." And that's right, man. Are we not at the end of the world? You can ask a random person right now, are we at the end of the world? And they're going to tell you yes. Okay, it doesn't take a rocket science to really see that, man. And you can even just on a doomsday clock. All right, and I believe we're 60 seconds to midnight, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and what should that tell you? That we're at the end of the world. And these devils know that too, man. Why would you have a doomsday clock, man? It's another thing too. All right, why would you have a doomsday clock? Because these devils know that. So a certain amount of these devils, they done made a clock, and every time, the clock hit midnight, there was it was a global, catastrophe that happened. All right, and seeing that it's 60 seconds of midnight, what should that tell you? That we are at the end of this world. We are at the end of Esau's rulership. All right, that's what it's all about, man. So these devils know that their kingdom is coming to an end. They understand that, all right, they're trying to, and that's why they try to push their NW and try to speed things up, because they understand that the Lord is coming to get them. All right, seeing all these wars and all these things that are happening. All right, the scriptures have been, told us about that in Matthew 24, right here in 6 and 7. Where all these things are signs that we are at the end of the world. This is a sign to show that we are at the end of Esau's rulership. Are there not wars and rumors of wars? Okay, wasn't Ukraine, Russia going at it, and Israel, and someone else? All right, if I'm not mistaken, these are all these proxy wars that were going, man. Okay, earthquakes in diverse places, famines, pestilence. All these are signs that should show you, hey, things getting serious, man. We are at the end of the world. And being at the end of the world showing you that we are at the end of Esau's rulership. And that's what we're waiting for, man. The ending, the ending of this devil's rulership. Okay, so hey, man, Lord and blessing this edifying. And with that, I do want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, and Kakadash. That one star apostles and the great meal from the taught us the truth. Peace and blessing to the sincere audience. With that, I do want to say shalom.